Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. First of all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So it's been a while, I didn't update my YouTube video. So in my previous video, I have one like I shared the Power Automate. It was called Microsoft Flow previously, and in October 2019, Microsoft rebranded to Power Automate. So there are two main components for Power Automate. And so Power Virtual Agent, I already demonstrated that in a previous video. And another part is called the UI flow. So in the UI flow, then you can automate the desktop UI flow, and also you can do a web UI flow automation. So in this video, I would like to do a demo for this UI flows. Okay, and so at first I want to share something exciting for you guys, like to see how the UI flow works. I did a desktop UI flow automation, and actually I think the idea of the UI flow came wasn't invented by Microsoft, like recording the keystrokes of the mouse, the clicks of the mouse, and then automate the keystrokes. This kind of automation, like I saw many software about this like many years ago. So it's not a invention of Microsoft. But Microsoft took the idea of those desktop automation and also created a web automation for this UI flow. So I want to demonstrate something exciting first to see how the desktop UI flow works. Then you can see how amazing it is at the beginning. Then I will show you how to create it. So I created the UI flow, so-called change file extension to xlsx. So actually I have a folder on my desktop. It's this folder Power Automate, and in this folder I have some old Excel file format. So the XLS, these extensions is for Excel 1997. So Excel 97 to 2003. So these are for the old Excel file format. If you want to format it to the Excel format after Excel 2003, like the xlsx. So if you want to change those extensions from XLS to xlsx to this new format, then if you have hundreds of files, you have to do it one by one, and it's very time consuming. So if you can create a desktop UI flow and to do it for you, then it will save you lots of time. Okay, so I will show you how to just change one at the beginning. Then I'll introduce the concept, and then I will have another video to show you something else for how to loop through the list and automate the task to change them all together. Okay, so for example, if right now I created this UI flow, then I can change one of these files. Then I'll tell you the limitation for this desktop UI flow. Okay, so let's do a test first. So I created this UI flow with the desktop flow, and then I can test it. Then I click on test. So this is my input file. This file is pointing to this path. You can see this path, and with this file name 1.xls. Actually, I can change it to like 2 or 3 or 4. That's not a problem. Let's test this one first, okay? So let's say test now. Then I will not move my mouse. I will not touch my keyboard. I will not do anything, and just wait for the UI flow to get triggered. Then the computer will do it by itself, okay? Then you see, it started the process. So first of all, it opened the Excel, and it opened Excel application, and then click on the open folder. Okay, so it seems like it's busy. Okay, so that's just wait. If you look at like, so in this process, you cannot do any interaction with your mouse or keyboard. You cannot interact with it. Do any interaction. You have to wait until it's done. So now it shows not responding. Yeah. So that's this desktop UI flow is not perfect. So because it's using the Windows applications, it's recording the clicks in your Windows applications. So it could be affected by many things. So it's not perfect. And also you could see there's a preview in the UI flow. So let's just stop this process for now. Then let's start from beginning. Okay, so I just killed it. So the reason I'm showing this video, I will tell you something afterwards. And so see the run Excel script. Then if it's cannot respond, then I just give you this exclamation sign. And if you expand this, then you could see some details, like it's stuck in the steps, in this step. Okay, but we don't know what is the problem is. If you want to see exact problem, then you can see it has some errors here. But I was able to run this successfully before, so this is actually is not the reason. Okay, so we can just close this, and then I think the reason is because I have previously when I run it successfully, I do not have this OBS because I'm using my video recorder right now to record this YouTube video. And previously when I run this successfully a few times, I don't have any other applications running. So if you are running any other applications on your laptop, on your computer, then it could interfere with this UI flow process. You see, this is still under preview, so it's not a perfect product. It's just a product which is going to be released and going to be in the general availability. Yeah. So now it's not available yet. It's just under preview. Okay. So in our folder, yeah, we still only have this file. We do not have any other files yet. Okay, let's just test this again to see if we test again, if it can run successfully. So this path is correct. Then let's say test now and do not click anything. Just wait. Okay, so on the top you also see it says testing UI flow now. Please don't interact with your device until the test is complete. Now it started the process. It seems to be okay now. And open and browse. And then it will automatically populate the input file name. And then it will open. Then it will save it automatically to the format 1.xlsx. Save as, then we'll change the format to the xlsx. Okay, and save. Okay, so it completed the process. You could see after it completed the process, then you have a green check mark here, and you can say save and exit. So I just looped through, I just tested with one of the files. You could see in my folder, it generated another file, which is 1.xlsx. So it's amazing. I didn't touch anything on my computer. I didn't touch the mouse. I didn't touch the keypad. And it just, by this triggering process, it just did it by itself. By this flow, by the steps in this flow all by itself. So I didn't do anything. Okay, So this is just example, like you can do a test of the flow you created and make sure it's working properly. We can do another test for another file. Let's pick another file that for.xls. Let's try that file, okay? Let's do another test again. Then try with this for, okay? For.xls. Then we cannot touch anything on this computer anymore. Just stand by and wait for it to do it by itself. So during this process, if your Excel file has the enable added, like if you downloaded the Excel file from somewhere, and if you have the enable added on, then this process will error out. You cannot complete this process. So there are many things could prevent this process, and also I tried another time. I have my Power ISO, which is the virtual, you see? So sometimes it just cannot run successfully. Then you have to do the test a few times. That's the limitation I want to explain. Even when you create this flow, it's not that smooth. It's not that, it does not run that smoothly. You see, this has an error. But actually, if you check this error, you couldn't find anything, like, because it's the same process, it's just a different file name. It should do it automatically and without error. It just the application does not work that perfectly. It's still under preview, so it still have something to improve. So that's just test again with the same file, okay, with for. And then just wait, do not do anything to see if this time can run through properly. So the reason I just use this step-by-step process, because the end purpose for me is like I need to put all these Excel files with the XLS format on my SharePoint list. And then I want this UI flow to loop through that SharePoint list and to rename all the files from XLS to xlsx automatically for me. Yeah, but this time it seems like it error out again. Okay, so this process just does not work that perfectly. So let's try to delete this file. Okay, so you see, the reason is because you still have this file open. So it didn't do the close process. So I think that could be a reason. Now I have to Excel open. Then let's close all this open Excel file. So I don't want to delete that for now, just test again to see if I close all the Excel, then run again, and if it can do it properly. The functionality sounds exciting, but the actual process does not look like that exciting. So that's not only for Microsoft, it's for all the software. Like the marketing is always has a gap with the reality. You see, this time it's running successfully. Okay, so even this is like we just run it. We didn't create. When you do the creation, then you feel frustrated as well. Okay, we didn't need to delete this file. So the only thing we did is like we have to close this Excel file in order for it to run successfully. But yeah, it seems that could be a reason why it didn't run successfully. And so when you create this recording process, then it could be even more frustrating because it's not look like, I'll show you guys later. So let's see it's missing a close process. But if you pick the code and say done, so yeah, so it just duck on this SIF. It didn't have that close process. It's missing a click. It's missing a click in the steps for closing Excel. Okay, so that's why it didn't go through. It didn't. We have to close that Excel file manually for it to run successfully for the next testing file. Let's try again. So right now we don't have any Excel file open. Let's try again. We are just testing this we are just testing the stability for this UI flow, right? Because we wanted to run stable successfully, and we don't want to have different result for each run. Okay, so let's test again. And so next we're gonna test with another file. So you see we have successfully converted 1 and 4. We want to test with 2. Okay, so we change this test input file to 2. Then do not touch it anymore, and to see if this time it can run through successfully. There's no excuse this time because we closed that open Excel file. So it should run successfully. If it doesn't run successfully, that means it's still something in this UI flow need to be improved. Okay, so it opened this file, save. Then it should change the format after. Okay, it did this, so it was running successfully. You see this green check mark. So it was able to do this. You see, file 2.xls has been renamed to 2.xlsx. So this has been done successfully. So we found, because the steps in that UI flow was missing close the file, then that's why it's not running successfully for the next file. But when I record this file, I did have that close action. It just didn't record it. So this UI flow still need to be improved. And if you go through the recording process, then it's even more frustrating because it's very sensitive. Like even you didn't click anywhere else, then it still cannot record the right steps. Okay, so that's why I want to show you guys another YouTube video, because that YouTube video is from Microsoft. So this YouTube video is from the Microsoft Power Automate team. So when you see this 4-minute video, everything works smoothly. That's the marketing. It's not the reality. But when you actually do it, then you will have more difficulties than what shows in this video. The video can be cut, right? But like my YouTube video, so the latest few YouTube videos I recorded, I didn't do any cut. So you can see how the actual software runs. Then you can have your fair evaluation on the software. So this is a great product, but because it's still in preview, and there's still lots of improvement have to be done. So if you look at this YouTube video, and so what it does is it created a Microsoft flow, the Power Automate flow, and trying to convert the XLS file to the xlsx file, but actually at the end it's trying to insert this UI flow to another flow which you can loop through a SharePoint list. Then you can loop through your SharePoint list and to rename all the files in that SharePoint list from the XLS to the xlsx extension. Okay, so that's what this, but everything in this video was running smoothly, okay? But when we do it, it won't be that smooth. Then you feel many things are frustrating. So when I create this flow, so first of all, the first step for me is like you have to use the browser Chrome. You cannot use the browser Internet Explorer. And in the Chrome, in order to use the recording process, you have to install the extension Microsoft Flow Preview. You have to install this extension in order for you to do the recording, okay? So now I'm gonna show you how you create this recording process. Okay, so if we go back, we just go back. So, okay, actually, I have to create a new one in order to show you, because this one, even you go back, you cannot see the first step there. Okay, so let's close this. It's already there. So let's go to my flows. Then you can go to UI flows. Then let's just create a new UI flows, okay? When you do this, you have two options here. One is the desktop app, one is the web app. So we're gonna create a Power Automate flow for the desktop app, because this process is automating the desktop process, okay? So then you select this desktop app, then you click on next. Then you have to give your flow a name. So I give that flow the name is like convert xlsx to xlsx, right? But at the beginning, I didn't take that approach. I try to do something different. So I'm gonna show you what is the something different I'm talking about. So I don't want to create the same flow like Microsoft to rename the xls to xlsx. I'm trying to use another example. If you can rename a file that way, then you can rename a file differently, right? So I want to rename all these pictures, image file from the PNG file extension to the JPEG, to the JPG file extension, okay? But then you found that it's not possible. There's limitations for this UI flow. It's not anything you want to create for desktop automation can be done, okay? When I do this, then there's lots of difficulty. I'll show you guys step by step. So let's say if I want to loop through this folder and rename all these PNG file to JPEG file, and so I give my flow a name saying like convert PNG to JPG, okay? Then convert PNG files to JPG format. Then next. Okay, so now you can put in your input. So the example data I'm gonna have here will be like this. I'm kind of lazy, so I'm just doing this. Okay, so this is my input, and add the input description. You can put whatever. So PNG files. Okay, so that's a description you can give it to it, and then you say next. So next comes this recording process. For this record app process to show up and working properly when you launch the recorder, so you have to install that flow preview extension I pointed out earlier. You have to install this Microsoft Flow Preview extension in your Chrome in order for this launch recorder process to launch properly. Okay, let's do it. Launch recorder. And then you will see the recorder tab is docked on the top. Then you can click on record. And now you can start your process. For me, I have to start application which can open that PNG file. So I start Paint, and then I go to File, go to Open, okay? And then I have to browse to my folder. So I have to go to Desktop and go to my logo, and then I say Input Files. Then it says you have to click on the control. The control is this file name. When I click on here, then it just populated this file name, okay? And that's my input file name because I already defined my input file sample in the previous steps in the Power Automate flow. Okay, so then that's why when I click on use input, then it just populates that file name automatically. Next step, I have to click on open, and after that I have to click on file, then save as JPEG picture. Then this is actually the file I want to save to 1.jpg. Okay, click on save, then click on close. So then I click on done. Okay, so this is the whole recording process, but it doesn't seem all the clicks are going smoothly because you can see when I close the program, I have to click on that cross sign on the right top corner twice before, and it does close the Paint application, right? So then you have to check your recorded steps to see if there's any extra steps created. Then you have to delete those steps if you see anything extra. Okay, so that's why this process is frustrating because it's kind of too sensitive, or sometimes it's kind of insensitive, doesn't run properly. So click on pick code and click on done. It will show you a screenshot. So this is the close process, but try this again. Click 11 and click on done. You see the same process again. So that means this is an extra step. So you have to delete this step. Okay, say okay, and check the previous step. So the save after save is close. Yeah, so that's from my observation because I could see when I try to close, I have to click on that close twice before it responds. So then extra steps were created. You have to delete that extra step from my point of view. Okay, and then you go to next, and you can define the output or you don't need to. It's not mandatory. Okay, and click on next. And so let's see, because we already tried this process by manually doing it, so let's just delete this manual process with it. And then I will tell you the limitation for this flow. You can see when you do something else, like if you do for Excel, it's fine, but still does not work properly. If you do this image files, then it does not work at all. Okay, so then I'll test it, then you could see. So when it goes to open file, it just switch from all files to the GIF file extension automatically by itself. You could see that process. I don't know why that happens, but it just happened. You wait until the file name populated. So this time it doesn't seem to. Okay, let's wait. You see? So it just changed it to the GIF automatically from all files by itself. So I think this is something Microsoft need to improve. It only worked for Excel. And for other format, like for the image format, it changed from, so the files I'm trying to open previously in this drop-down list, I'm showing all files, but it just changed to GIF automatically by itself and do something. Let's see if we can save it to JPEG. And you could notice, like, for each step, you have to wait a long time for it to go to the next step. So sometimes it's even long enough that you think it's not doing anything. So like now, it seems like it's stuck there and does not go to the next step. So that's why I'm telling you guys, the limitation is like it may only work with Excel format and does not work with other file formats. You see, we've been waiting long enough and it still doesn't go to save as and JPEG. If you don't have the patience, then you may just force kill it. Okay, so I don't think I'm that patient. I just want to kill it. It seems like it just stuck there. Yeah, so still what I explained, it may only work with Excel and not for other file format if you want to rename the file. It just stuck there and does not go to the next step. I will kill it. I will interact with this process because I can not wait for it anymore. And the steps, you see, it errored out. Yeah, errored out for no reason. That's this flow look like. Okay, so this step, yeah, and you cannot know exact reason. It just the action failed. It just said action failed. You cannot find the root reason why the action failed. Okay, let's just kill this. Let's go back. So you can see it failed at click 8. Then if you pick the code for click 8, see done. So then it just stuck on this step. Sometimes it just cannot go through by itself. Yeah, so that's why I'm telling you, if you are using other format of the files, it may not work. But this process is the process I'm creating for the Excel. For my that Excel flow, I used exactly the same for exact the same steps. So it's very sensitive. So if you have this situation like it failed, it cannot go through, then you have to record it again. So what I in that scenario, what I do, well, I have to delete this, say delete, and then say new step, and click on this recorder app again, and then launch the recorder again to record it again. When I created that convert Excel format, Excel XLS to xlsx extension, when I created that flow, actually, I did it many times because this is so sensitive. So that's the very frustrating part. Yeah, so you can try it by yourself. So then I'm just, for this example, I will just use this and try to show you the process. I create that Excel flow. Let's delete this. Then you see how time consuming just to create something like this. Okay, so okay, so then I'm gonna change this to, so this is the one, and I just put this file. Okay, so this is the process I create that one. So that's the XLS. You can give it any description, like makes sense to you, okay? And then, so you can, so this is the first step. Actually, if you created that flow, you have to rename the flow name from the convert PNG to JPG format to convert XLS. I'm just using this flow to show you how I create that flow, the other flow, okay? And next, then you start your recording process. So as I said, this is very sensitive. So even you click something, by mistake, and no, not by mistake, then you have to review your steps. Or even you didn't click anywhere, and the flow itself didn't respond to the next step in that Excel application, then you have to review your steps. Let's launch it. Then record. Then the process I'm doing is like go to Excel. Then go to open. Then browse. When you browse, then you can go to desktop, then Power Automate, then use the input. Okay, then let it populate. Open. Okay, and then file, save as. Then this time we just need to change this. You see, I click it once, it didn't work, it didn't respond. I have to click on the drop down list again. So then you have to review your process, then save. Okay, then remember I did click on this close, but I just didn't create that step for some reason. I click on close. I'm waiting for this. It will always circling like this. Okay, so even you wait, it will always circling. So you have to click on done. Then this was created. Then you have to review that steps because you see so many steps. But the other flow I only have 8 steps. So which means the other flow I have 8 steps is also because I have that path saved in that cache automatically. So I didn't need to click on desktop, click on that folder again. I just go to that folder directly. So that's why. And if you do have this, then you have to review each steps one by one. Okay, so let's start from the end. This will be easier, close. So this flow did require the close process. And check this one. But it saved. It seems like it didn't. Okay, let's see. It should have, so this previous step will be save. Yeah, save to this xlsx format and pick 12. So because you remember when I click on this drop down arrow, it didn't respond at the first time. I have to click it twice. So that's why it required this process. So actually, we should delete this step. Then it should only have this step. When you click on this drop down, you should this already. $11, $10. So you see, it just required this twice, duplicate, right? So that's why we have to delete the other step. 9, save as, then click on this drop down, then click on this xlsx. Okay, so other steps I think is fine because I only remember like it didn't respond the first time for that step. So now we can test with this file. Remember, if we go back to here, we already have this manually created because when we record that video, when we record that flow process, then it just we manually created this file. So we're gonna delete this. Seems like the delete is not working, but try this again. Okay, so now we can test. And do not touch your keyboard or mouse, just wait. Then you may see the frustrating part because it may not work properly, it may error out. So that's why even when you create this flow, you have to do it many times before it can run it successfully. So remember, last step is like we close the app, but this didn't seem to close the app, right? Oh, it did. It's great. Okay. So this time it seems to be run successfully. And let's save and exit. So this new flow, it did close the app. That's great. Okay, because last time I recorded that flow, I did close the app, Excel, and it didn't record that part. So then, if it does that, remember when I showed you at the beginning the other successful flow, it's like because it didn't close the Excel application. That's why when you try to test with another file, then it didn't go through. So I'm gonna test again for this one. So this name does not match, but it doesn't matter. Okay. So if I use 2, then it should run successfully as well, in theory. Let's take a look. So now just wait, do not touch anything. Save, then close the app. And close Excel. Good. Then you see the green check mark. That's good, okay? So this is just the first step. So I encourage you guys, if you do want to try this out, so first, you just let it try one by one. Do not let it to loop through the whole folder. Just do a few tests one by one. If it can run successfully, then you can embed this UI flow to another flow. Like I think the limitation is like because the Power Automate is a cloud service. So if you do not use SharePoint Online for that folder looping to rename the files, if you use your local folder, it may not be able to do it, because in order to trigger something automatically to loop through the local folder, you may have some kind of a gateway which can connect your online application to your local on-premise data kind of things. So that's why I think if you search online, you only see like rename it from the SharePoint list, instead of like loop through a local desktop folder. So I think I will create another YouTube video, to show you guys how to change this UI flow you created successfully to loop through the SharePoint list and rename the file one by one from that SharePoint list. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you guys again next time.